Have you ever done something that you wish you could take back? Have you ever put your foot in your mouth and said, uh-oh, why I say that? Have you ever said some shit and been like doubled down and tripled down knowing you was wrong and that you messed up, but you can't backtrack, right? Because then you look like a fool. Well, today on the Mike's Opinion podcast, we're going to talk about some of those things. Of course, coming up is the world famous update episode. I do one every month, well, almost every month. And we're going to talk about a couple people you know. A couple, well, you don't know them personally, but you know they in the news. People that have made mistakes. We'll say one of them being Kanye West or Ye or whatever the fuck he's calling himself now. Yeah, we're gonna dive real deep into people that make mistakes, and we're gonna combine that with updated information because that's what the update is all about. It's stories and things that I find interesting that I feel like talking about because this is the Mike's Opinion podcast, baby. Right here, we unleash the logic. The logic is unleashed. So stay tuned, get ready, tune in as you are, because the Mike's Opinion podcast is coming up next.
You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unlimited.
That's right, Logic Unleashed. Thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here right now. Thank you so much for listening. I always appreciate you. I always want to know how you're doing. How are you doing? You doing good? I hope you're doing good. And if not, I hope you're on a pathway to doing good. This is the world famous update episode. Everybody loves these episodes where I give an update on things that's happening in the world. And there's lots and lots to talk about. As always, I dig deep and then I funnel it down, or chisel it down, I should say, because there's too much to talk about right now. But when I was doing the research for the update episode, I realized that there's a theme, and it just popped out at me. It's just people that's fucking up. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what's happening. But before I get started, please support the show. Please like, share, comment, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff in all the places. Your support is the lifeline for this over. So if you haven't done it, please do it. First time and long time listeners, take a moment right now before you even dig into the show. I got, over 120 episodes out there. You got a lot of content to sink your teeth into. And I really need your support. I need your help. If you got some money you'd like to donate, that would be greatly appreciated, and invest it into the show as well. So please do so. You can go into the show notes, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. I got a GoFundMe out there. New computers, new mics, marketing, the whole nine. It's cost money to make this show. It's free for you to listen, but it is costly to make this show. So your support would be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, and on the heels of my last episode, and if you haven't checked it, check it out. I asked the question, why can't we say anything about Jewish people? And I'm not trying to get canceled before I even get started. But I asked that question because we can talk about anybody, right? We have amendments, constitutional amendments to give us the right to free speech here in this country. But the second you say something about a Jewish person, the anti-Semitism label comes out. Check out that episode. Very interesting episode. Got a lot of feedback on the episode so far. I'd like to hear yours. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. You can always reach me directly and in DMs. Slide into my DMs. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere on any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Just holler at me. Let me know how you're feeling. I'd appreciate the feedback, really. And I love interacting with you. But Kanye West. Kanye West. Yee! You know, all these dudes gotta have 5 names now, right? Like, I had a nickname growing up as a childhood, and me having the name Michael, being born with the name Michael, a lot of people call me Mike. So, but I don't have like 8 names. That's about the total of that. But as of this recording, and y'all know I record usually on Tuesdays, late Tuesday night, I drop every Wednesday at noon Central Time, or 12:01 to be exact. A minute after noon, Central Standard Time, every Wednesday is when you can look for a new episode. I've been trying to stay on time. I haven't been really putting the links in the show notes to articles. It's the process that I have. I always forget that. I'm trying to do better. But as of this recording, Kanye West, who was a billionaire, and I'm going to get back to that in a second. I'm not here to advocate or defend Kanye West. I can't help but wonder. Some people are defending him, but I cannot help but wonder if does he have a point? I'm going to ask a question. Does he have a point? Because I don't know. You know, you can't say that you're going DEFCON on nobody. DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, DEFCON 3, which is what he said, even though that's not the worst because there's DEFCON 4 and 5. And DEFCON has to do with like nuclear weapons, and war, and that kind of stuff. But I just want to say for the record before I go one word further, I do not advocate for violence, hate of any kind. If you've listened to my podcast, thank you for doing so, first of all. And you know I'm looking for utopia. I'm a peaceful, empathetic, kind person. And I want to shed positivity or share positivity to the world through this podcast. I also want you to think, so we can be better. But when you say stuff like that and automatically get the label anti-Semitic, and I dive into Semitism and all that in the episode. Check out that episode. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that. Interact with the episode. Do some stuff. But it seems like the crumbling of Kanye West is happening. Now, based on what I've seen so far, I don't know how somebody can come back from this, but he is he. He is ye. He is ye, right? So he's supposedly an innovator, a free thinker. Some call him genius. He's called himself a genius. So look, I don't know. But so far, here's the list this is a list of companies and people that have severed ties, have taken the loss. The first one being Adidas. Supposedly it's going to lose about $270 million. And they said, bye. They said they out. Adidas, one that was producing his Yeezy footwear, stuff like that. Yeah, Adidas cut ties. Balenciaga, the CAA talent agency, which was his talent agency, his former talent agency, UTA, MRC, which is the film and television studio, Vogue, LeBron James and them with his production company, Gap, Def Jam, Donda Sports Agency, which has Aaron Donald and Jaylen Brown, and the list keeps growing. Right now, a little bit earlier, I mentioned that he is no longer on the Forbes billionaire list because a lot of that, like $1.5 billion of that, basically was relying upon that Adidas deal. Okay? And Adidas pulled the plug on that. Interestingly enough, they said in their statement that they basically own all the designs except for his flip-flops. So, yeah, you went from billionaire to not in a few days. Now, I don't know about you, But when you start losing billionaire status and all your business alliances, connections, contracts, and deals are getting canceled, if being a billionaire, being rich, and having all this influence is important to you, then you might want to start a real apology tour. He said himself, he takes meds for mental health, mental illness. Blame it on your meds, yo. I was off meds. I was tripping. Like, give $1 million to like Jewish organizations. He possibly can come back from this. You would think, because it took Adidas a minute to sever these ties, that the people in the Adidas camp was like, somebody was like, yo, you can come back from this. We don't want to cut our nose off to spite our face because you making us do this. Just say you're sorry. But subsequently, he has doubled down in other interviews. And that brings me to the Drink Champs interview. Shout out to Nori and DJ Effin and all the people over at Drink Champs. Yo, Nori said, yo, I was drunk. And clearly in the video, you could see he was buzzed. But that's what they do. They smoke weed, they drink, and then all the shit comes out. Puff went on the Breakfast Club. Shout out to those people, Charlemagne and Envy and Yee, Angela Yee and all of them over there. But they, Puff got on there, was trying to hold them down. Yeah. You cannot say anything about Jewish people. Check out that episode because I'm still wondering why. I don't have an answer to the question. I can only speculate. But a bunch of protesters just went out in LA on the 405 overpass and was hanging banners saying, yo, we support Yee and what he's saying is true and blah, 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 blah. Look, hey, in the introduction, I said this episode was the update episode, but it's also about people that say shit that maybe they wish they could take back or that, stand in that shit. I don't know where Kanye West stands right here, right now, tonight. But being the thinker that I am, I always look past stuff. I play chess, so I think several moves ahead, and I hope we don't find Kanye dead somewhere. In a way that only probably he would do it, right? Because when the world is turned against you, and of course he gonna have those strap hangers, right? That's getting money with him, and that's just gonna keep pumping him up, and they going, they call them the yes men. In this world day and age, the yes people. Okay. So he probably got some yes people around him, maybe people in his camp that may not be the healthiest people for him. But once you are painted with that anti-Semitic brush, you are seen as literally a hater. You are literally a hater of Jews. And here in America, that's immediate cancellation. As has been proven by everybody that's severing these ties. Now, it didn't matter about the shirt, the White Lives Matter shirt. People didn't sever ties. Didn't matter about all the wild shit that has come out of Kanye's mouth and the antics and actions of Kanye West. Nope. People knew who they was fucking with when they signed up with him. Okay? But it took the remark about Jews. That's what's happening with Yee. I wish him well. I wish Jewish people well. I wish all humans and all living things on this planet and in our universe, our solar system, our galaxy, our universe, and any other universes, I wish all living things well. Moving on. The midterms are coming. Midterm elections, couple years away from the next presidential elections. It's about time for me to do another episode because elections are just crazy now. I speculate, is every election just going to be bonkers and legal challenges and crazy shit? Crazy shit is going on right now. Like, I've been reading articles like armed people harassing people at ballot drop boxes, groups of people yelling at people, heckling people at ballot drop boxes. I haven't cast my vote yet. The early voting is going on here. I always like to get that out the way early. I don't like to wait till actual election day. So, but I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Is this just the way elections are going to be now? Crazy. But I bring up elections and politics to mention another person who wished they could take stuff back, who has also been saying wild shit for a long time. Sometimes they call him gaffes. Sometimes he was just wild. And that is our current president, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, and I'm not trying to be mean. I am just observant. And I'm not the only one. There's many, many, many who have observed. I don't think Joe's all there. He's upwards of, I think, 80 now. Okay, at some point, go sit down. Yo, Joe, this is Mike of the Mike's Opinion Podcast, and I mean no disrespect. Mr. President, go sit down. Go sit your ass the fuck down. Okay? I wasn't like really here like when JFK was running shit. I like the young swagger of a young Barack Obama. Don't we have a young, very vibrant, smart person capable to represent and lead this country? And I already know y'all saying, yo, Mike for president. No, I know I'm just, not the political dude. Not the political dude. But I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, like Britain, who didn't elect this dude, but they got the first, what they're calling, prime minister of color, Indian dude who's married to a crazy rich woman. But, young, handsome fella, fly, rich, about to leave Britain. Let's see if he can clean up the mess over there, because it is a hot mess over there. But where is our next JFK Barack? I'm just saying, nobody wants to be involved in politics. Some people do. But it seems like on the right and the left, insanity is just popping out. More so on the right, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? The Republicans, the conservatives, they bugging. They're bugging. They embracing insanity. Like as a method, as a strategy. Insanity as a strategy. Saying the wildest shit you can. But Joe told a senator who was in a wheelchair to stand up during the speech. Stand up, man. Where you at? He's looking for him in the crowd. He's like, what am I thinking? You're in a wheelchair. Come on. That's one of the things I know he wish he could take back. You know what I'm saying? He's looking for Jackie in the crowd. Yo, where's Jackie? Jackie, he got killed in a car crash months ago. Was dead. He looking for Jackie. I can't tell you how many times he's called Vice President Kamala Harris president. Look, I have nothing against aging. I'm aging. My back is killing me right now. Real talk. Okay? I'm getting older. The decline really starts around mid-30s. So for all my young peoples out there listening, first of all, thanks for doing so. I appreciate you rocking with me. But, take care of your body. Like, you ever seen them 90-year-olds still riding bikes? That's because they've been doing that shit for 50, 60, 70 years. Exercise should become a habit. Don't overdo it, because you can injure yourself that way too. As so many would have been pro ball players or sports players would have been. That injury knocked them out. So you got to be careful with it. But exercise, it don't even have to be all that ratchet. Rah, rah, rah. Just go for a walk every day. If you're young, run, ride a bike, play some hoops or something. You know what I'm saying? But if exercise becomes a habit for you, your body will stay strong along with what you eat. When you're young, you don't really have to give a fuck. Have that double order of chili cheese fries with a milkshake and then chase it down with a big giant piece of chocolate cake for dessert. It ain't really gonna fuck with you. Because you got that young body, that young metabolism. But as you get older, like I said, about 35 or so, you start slowing down. Start making sounds when you get up off the couch like, That's real, yo. That's just them, and I'm getting old sounds. But shout out to my mom who's in her 80s, you know what I'm saying, and still doing it. Still doing it. She made some potato salad today, off the chain. Delicious. Love my mom's potato salad. But yo, people that do shit or say shit that they wish they could take back. I do not think President Biden is all there. And I'm not saying I want Trump to come back, because the presidential field right now, everybody's focusing on the midterms, right? The governors, senators, stuff like that. Everybody's focusing on that, but are you voting for Joe in 2 more years? Like, he losing his mental faculties now. Okay? Go sit down. And just real talk. I don't know how much faith I got in Kamala. Just as a shoo-in. Cause I don't know if it's just the media painting her that way, but sometimes I wonder if she hitting that juice, yo. Or she's smoking something, cause some of her interviews be crazy. The shit that she be saying. She makes a lot of mistakes. It's a high pressure job though, so, I'm not really trying to judge. I don't even know, if I can handle it. I can handle it because I have a don't give a fuck button. Not that I actually don't give a fuck. Okay. But realizing that in the grand scope of the history of Earth, none of this shit really matter. We zoomed in on our own personal shit during our lifetime. But in the grand scheme of the billions and millions and billions of years of this planet, this shit don't matter. The Earth will wipe itself clean like we never existed. So that's what I mean. So I can handle the stress, is what I'm saying. Don't nominate me, but I'm just saying I could. Moving on. This one is, this next subject, I contemplated if I was even going to, talk about it. But I want to, if I could save one person from shooting up some shit, there's another school shooting, Monday, 24th of October in St. Louis. Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. They probably call it Central. Another AR-15, 600 rounds of ammo. 2 people were killed. Actually 3, because the gunman was killed as well. And he was a graduate. I'm not going to say his name. I will say the name of the victims. May their souls rest in peace. All souls rest in peace, right? And people say, well, how can you want the soul, the soul of the shooter to rest in peace? Because mercy and forgiveness is important. I know it's early. I know it's hard. But at the end of the day, humans, man, us humans, we're capable and do so much beautiful shit, so much horrible shit. But it sounds so cliche. I don't know what else to say, but my thoughts and my prayers go out to Alexandria Bell, who was 15 when she got shot and killed in her school, and the teacher, 61-year-old Jean Kuksa. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, please forgive me. When we gonna stop? I went to high school in the 80s. in New York City, I don't personally have any recollections of shootings happening in school. I didn't even think about that. Now, the second I stepped outside, the streets was hot. I've seen many. I have personally seen many murders and shootings, stabbings, baseball bat, and all kind of violence. In school, never crossed my mind. I mean, there might be a fight in the hallway or something like that, but you wasn't thinking somebody's going to pull out that thing and start popping. This dude had more than a dozen high-capacity magazines. Gunviolencearchives.org is a website, and if you don't have the stomach for it, don't go see it. Don't go look at it, because they have every gun incident that happens. And it never stops. I guarantee you, this incident is not at the top of the page by now. Would you want to live in a country where only the quote unquote authorities had guns? Or there was no guns at all? Now, for my NRA members, my, I think Second Amendment members, the right to bear arms, to y'all people, I understand your argument. And I am a gun owner myself. But if everybody was giving up theirs, I'd give up mine. Happily and quickly. Just for the sake of us never having another school shooting. We could take down the metal detectors and the paid armed security guards that are in schools. Once again, I didn't have that in my school. There were no armed guards. There were no guards. The principal, that was it. We had no metal detectors. I went to a really great school. There were a lot of schools that were much worse than mine. So there is that. I'm not naive. I'm not unrealistic. But these school shootings have to stop. I don't usually honor the killer in any way, and I'm not going to now. But I'm going to paraphrase something he said, because he left a note. He probably knew he was going to be killed. And if they hadn't killed him, there would have been a lot more people dead. There's no doubt about it. But it took them like 8 to 12 minutes. 8 to 12 minutes till they got on scene, the cops, and then another 4 minutes before they put his head to bed, before they killed him. But he came to kill. He wasn't trying to hide the gun. He came in the building ready. But he said in his note that he didn't have any friends. He didn't have any family. He didn't have any girlfriend. He had no social life, and that he has been an isolated loner his entire life. I'm including this in the update episode because I've done episodes that focus more on this shooting and this violence, and I probably will in the future. But I just want to take the opportunity to remind everybody, be kind. Even to those that we don't vibe with, to those that we don't understand, to those that we don't necessarily like. And if you are a listener that has a teenage child that's in high school, talk to him. Say, look, do you see somebody that's dressed in all black regularly? Do you see somebody that don't vibe and don't talk to nobody, that comes to school alone, sits alone for lunch, leaves alone? Reach out. Humans are just, sometimes we cruel. Kids are cruel. They honest, right? And a lot of times we will act differently in the crowd than we do one-on-one or individually, right? So befriend these people. Because from what I'm seeing, it's not the popular, successful, happy kids that's shooting up joints. It's these social misfits, the socially awkward, the unaccepted, the fringe humans. Now, in the utopia that I often mention that I'm seeking, nobody would be excluded. Right? You say, yo, Mike, utopia don't exist. I know. And everybody's not going to be of a like mind. Everybody's not going to have the shared interest, right? Okay. I hear you, but we can start with fundamental basic commonalities, things that we all have in common. Human, number one. We're all human. We can start there. I'm a human. You a human. I don't care how tall, short, color, how you wear your hair, if you like bikes and I like, dogs or whatever, all the specific interests and likes that compartmentalize us, that separate us into our groups. And there's nothing wrong with you having your own interests, me having my own interests, but we need shit we can come together on where everybody's included and they can find their clique. This person didn't find his clique. He said he didn't have any friends. In a world of social media where there are groups where you can usually find your clique, sadly, there are groups of people like him that want to kill. They talk about how lonely they are. And instead of bringing positivity to that group, no. They, I don't want to say wallow, but they embrace their loneliness, their sadness, their anger. And I know this is turned into like a rant, but I'm going to move on. But I don't remember a lot of people being on medication. Powerful mind and brain altering medication. They never really mention it in a lot of these articles because we're on to the next one, right? We have a short attention span, but I often would like to know I want somebody to do research to see how many of these mass shooters were on antipsychotic medicine. There are so many people so many doctors, I use that word loosely, that will write that prescription in 5 seconds and change someone's life with these strong mind-altering drugs that they ain't never gonna get off. And if they do get off their meds, guess what happens? It ain't good. Ask Kanye West. You can't ask the shooter because he's dead. I don't have all the answers. I don't even have all the questions, but this shit got to stop. It's got to stop. I truly admire the courage of parents that continue to send their children out that door to school every day. Because I can't do it. Now, my wife and I, before my son came out the womb, we made the decision we was homeschooling. And I there was many reasons why. One of which, and I'm not afraid to admit it, I am frightened for my son's life. Now that's just a natural given as a parent with life on earth. Life on earth is dangerous. Period. End of sentence. But to think that I got to worry if some person is going to shoot up your school, and I'm talking grade school. You look at Uvalde, 19 little kids, 4th and 5th graders. Come on, man, that shit it's heartbreaking. I can't imagine being one of those parents. So that's part of the update. But I'm not leaving that subject. There was a hospital shooting. One of several hospital shootings recently. This one happened to be right here in my backyard. As you all know, if you don't know, then I'll tell you. But if you're a long time listener, then you know I'm from New York City, born and raised, but I now live in Dallas, a suburb of Dallas, Texas. And this past Saturday, young Latino gentleman, I think he was late 20s or 30, something like that. Yeah, young fella. Was in the hospital to see his girlfriend give birth. Now, before I go any further, I gotta let you know he's tatted up. He got the teardrop on the eye. Clearly a gang member, nevertheless. Or inked up as if he's a gang member. Long criminal history. I'm not certain. I'm assuming based on the pictures that I saw that he's a gang member. I would be surprised if he is not. Or at some point in his life wasn't. Anyway. Supposed to be at the hospital for a happy occasion. According to reports, girl gave birth. He started tripping. Is it his kid? I guess he didn't like the way the baby looked. He shoots 2 hospital employees that was coming to check on the girl while he was tripping. Hospital cop shot him in the leg. He should hopefully never get out of prison. He had just been arrested less than a year ago here in Dallas. So everybody's tripping, saying he should have never been out, blah, blah, blah. And across the country, the systems are being loosened, like cash bail is being gone, and they're trying to get rid of systemic oppression for minorities. And I get it. But during this transition, it's going to be a lot of shit going on. It's going to be the price to pay. But I don't know if my man was high, if he just lost control in a jealous rage, if he's just stupid, has anger issues. I don't know. I can speculate all day. I don't know this dude. What I do know is he was there for the birth of his kid. As he sits in jail right now as I speak, he probably wish he could take that shit back. Now, I know some dudes just like, yeah, fuck that, I killed it. Yeah, and they stand by that. But on the inside, I know a lot of hard rocks. I know a lot of dead people. I know a lot of imprisoned people. On the inside, they wish they could take it back. But they did some shit that they can never take back. Can't undo that shit. Can't apologize your way out that shit. Life has been taken. But I think about that little baby who had to have their little ears raped by gunfire. Welcome to the world, baby. Pow. Pow. Talk to people. Try to help people. If we spread this, not just nationwide, but worldwide, and like I said, I'm a dreamer. In the world of 8 billion people, it's too many people, right? Remember those companies were too big to fail? There's too many people for sanity to reign. For good to be normal. To be the norm. Seemingly. But in actuality, good still is the norm. The majority of us are not wilding. The media would make us believe that we are, and it would seem like there's an increase, but I don't know that that's true, because if you look back historically, we've been wilding since we've been here. Something wrong with humans, quite possibly. Like on a fundamental nature basis. Something may be wrong. I'm going to switch this up a little bit. We're going to go to some better news in this update. NASA is officially investigating UFOs. And I just want to go back just for a second, because if I didn't say rest in peace, I think I said rest in peace to everybody that I mentioned who lost their lives. And I mean that. But if I hadn't, I just wanted to make sure. Rest in peace. And my thoughts and prayers are to the friends, families, and, the victims, and even the people that committed the crimes. May all your souls find peace. But NASA, who should have been doing this, and probably has been doing this behind the scenes, but they officially said, we're officially going to assign about 13 to 19 people to investigate UFOs and UAPs. Officially. They're not going to look for no new shit, but they're going to look at the past reports, which I thought was kind of strange. Ain't y'all the space people? Ain't y'all looking out into space? Why wouldn't you look for new shit? It didn't seem to make any sense. I'm looking at my list right here, and I had inflation on the list because I paid $7 for some eggs today, and I was not happy about that shit. But we all know inflation is here, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I just saw about that, and I had to let you know about my $7 eggs and how I felt about that shit because I was not happy. But anyway, I have some stuff in the can that's already recorded about UFOs. I was supposed to be putting together this series, and I still want to, but first of all, it's not enough time in the day. Two, I want to go so deep into it, and I want it to be so profound and so well done that I'm like Hamlet. I've outthought myself on it. Thou dost think too much. That is me. Think too much. And I want this to be, so good that it's not out there, which is crazy. I heard some other good news, and I'll just run it by you just real quick. Some people up at Penn State, they found a way to charge an EV battery in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. It's a breakthrough. So, as one state in particular, California, said, look, it's going to be illegal to sell anything but electric vehicles in the not too distant future. We're witnessing, we are live in a potential shift, a huge shift from bad, polluting fuel sources and energy sources to what's been deemed clean and renewable. Converting the sun's power into usable energy, I think should have happened already. But I'm not trying to get murdered, but there's a lot of people that's getting rich and have been getting rich for a long time off of selling us energy, charging us money for gas, electricity, gasoline, oil. So they may not want to see that happen, where we're getting all of our energy and power from hydra, being water, and wind, and solar, which are all free. Huh? But that happened. I don't want to bring too much hope with this next thing I'm about to tell you. But to my baldies out there, which, I'm not into recording video. I know a lot of podcasts, they're not podcasts no more. They're really shows. They're online shows. I still like to do it to you in your ear hole. It's like Salt and Pepper said. But shout out to Salt and Pepper. A cure for baldness could be on the horizon. What? I need to do a clap sound for that, right? Applause. For all the people that want hair. Personally, hair is overrated. I let my hair go a long time ago, and I'm not going to get too personal. I don't want TMI, but there are several places on my body that I keep bald or very shaved down very low. My head is bald. I shave that joint. Shave it. In the summer, shave my whole face. The only hair on my head is my eyebrows and eyelashes, and I have contemplated removing them. But my wife said, don't do it. That might be grounds for like relationship termination, aka divorce. You know, she might not want to be with a husband with no eyebrows and no eyelashes. But hair's overrated. I heard something the other day that said, this is why, the STD crabs has, significantly reduced because, shaving and waxing the nether regions. Well, a lot of women, there's bald down there. So ain't no place for the crabs. And, and a lot of dudes is manscaping. So ain't no place for the crabs to attach. Hooray for that. All the aliens that we find, well, most of them are hairless. Huh? If we evolved, if you subscribe to the evolution theory, then our hair has been slowly becoming less and less. A lot of people love their hair, though. A lot of people love their hair. I can do without it. I like hair in a woman, though. I'm never going to front. My wife has very long hair. My son has very long hair. I've discouraged him from cutting it. He's thought about it a couple times, but I think his mom was trying to influence him because she don't like doing it. Because it's a lot of hair. It's a lot of work. Shout outs to wifey for, handling son's hair, and her hair. Because she's been wanting to cut hers off too. But these scientists in Japan, they were studying the process of hair growth. And I just laughed at myself. I was thinking about this Seinfeld episode I saw when George had ordered this stuff from Japan or China to make his hair grow. Anyway, but they have grown fully mature hair follicles with long shafts, and they're using a technique that involves creating skin organoids, which are simpler versions of an organ. And they've done this successfully in the Petri dish for the first time. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not making no promises, but for those baldies out there, like, who got the peninsula, you know what I'm saying? Like that bald spot. Hope may be on the horizon for you. Yes, there is good news out there. Put in your most popular search engine. And like I said, I don't say their names because I'm not sponsored. Please support the show, please. But you know who the world's most popular search engine is. Or any search engine. Put good news. Make that a point to do that. You got to protect your sanity. You got to protect your joy. You got to protect your happiness. It's easy to get overwhelmed and burdened by all of the problems of today and all of our personal problems. Don't succumb to it. Don't surrender to it. Okay? Try to be happy somehow, some way. Find your happiness, in your happy place. Now, I know this was a different update episode. I didn't do a whole lot of updates, but I did do some current events on the heels of my episode about Jews. I definitely wanted to, just mention what's going on with Kanye. I guess put Kanye in your prayers, ye in your prayers, and everyone else on planet Earth. If you believe in that sort of thing. If not, just positive energy, positive vibes. Let's put them out in the ether. Let's put it out into the world. Put it out into the frequencies. Let's put that positive energy. Put your hand on your device right now and think positive, good, the light, positivity. Because that's what we want here in the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Positivity, 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 positive vibes. As always, I hope you're okay. I mean that sincerely. I hope you're doing all right. Halloween is right around the corner. Shoot me a message on social media or email me, MikeSpinnyShow@gmail.com. If you're dressing up, shoot me some pictures. Let me see what you're looking like for Halloween. Show me your costume. I want to see you. Okay? But thank you so much for listening. I'm Mike, and this is the Mike's Opinion Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.